Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do another project video. We are going to make a scarf out of Wool Ease Thick and Quick, which is a number 6 super bulky yarn. It is made from 80% acrylic and 20% wool. It is machine washable and dryable. And we're just going to make a simple scarf using the stitches that we've learned so far. So it's going to be your cast on, and it's going to be, we're going to knit one row, and we're going to knit one, purl one the next row, and then we're going to cast off. And this will help you hopefully build your skill to keep the same number of stitches on your needle so that your scarf has even edges. And it's pretty simple. It's just a 2-row repeat. We're going to cast on 15 stitches. You can alter the pattern. It does have to be an odd number of stitches. So if you want it bigger, meaning wider, you would have to cast on, 15 is what we're going to start with. You would have to cast on 17 or 19 or 21 and so forth. If you want it more narrow, then you would go down. So you would cast on 13 or 11. It is a bulky scarf, so I don't know how narrow you'd want to make it. But it is your project. Be as creative as you want with it. We're going to use just one ball of this. You can make them a lot longer, especially if you're tall. I'm short. So if you're tall, you may want to add a second ball of yarn. And I'll have a video showing you how to add a second ball as well. So let's get started. I'm going to just find the end of our yarn here. Oh, before we get started, so we're going to use this for yarn. We're going to use 9-inch either size 15 bamboo clover needles. You don't have to use bamboo. You can use any type of needle that you want. I prefer the bamboo. So we are going to use size 15, or depending on how tight you like your stitches or how you knit, you could use a 13 as well. This yarn recommends a size 13 knitting needle or a size N crochet hook, but we're going to use the 13 knitting needle. If you knit real tight, you might want to switch to the size 15 needle. If you're going to make it wider, go with a longer needle. These are 9-inch, so go the next size up. Okay, so let's get started. So we're going to do a long tail cast on, and we're going to cast on 15 stitches. I do have a video showing how to cast on. I'll link that in the comments below, so you can feel free to check that out if you don't know how to do the long tail cast on. And make sure you don't do it too tight. Let's see what we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. And there we are. So from here, our first row is just going to be our knit row. And make sure you're knitting, see how you have your tail and your yarn that is attached to the ball of your yarn, your working yarn. Make sure you're knitting with your working yarn. So our first row is just to knit. 1, and then it's a good idea if you're a beginner knitter to maybe count your stitches at the end of each row to make sure that you have the correct number of stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we have 15 on our needle. So our next row is going to be a knit 1, purl 1. So we're going to knit the first stitch, bring your yarn through so you can purl the next stitch, and bring it back and knit. And bring it forward and purl. And bring it back and knit. Bring it forward and purl. Bring it back and knit. Bring it forward and purl. Just be very careful not to create any yarn overs when you're going back and forth. So you want to make sure you're putting your yarn in the correct spot to do the correct stitch. In the front to purl, and in the back to knit, and in the front to purl, and in the back to knit. And there we have our knit stitch, and there we have our knit and purl row. And we still have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 stitches on our needle. And our next row will be just that, just a knit row, just like we did for the first row. And you'll knit all 15 across. I love to make this scarf as gifts. Super nice to create a nice handmade gift. If I'm going to give them as gifts, I usually knit a bunch up in the summer so they're ready for the holidays. Okay. And there's our knit side, is this side we just knit. And then we have our purl side. And now we are going to do our fourth row, which is repeating our second row, which is knit 1, purl 1. Knit 1, purl 1. And this is a completely reversible scarf. Each side is going to look a little bit different, so you can wear it on either side. So you can see how we have our knit row, and this is our knit one, purl one row. This is your knit, this is your purl, your knit, your purl. Same here, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit. And we still have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 stitches going across. So I'm going to knit some more of this off camera, and I will meet you back here and we'll see how our progress is going. Okay, and we're going to continue with the last little bit of our scarf. And we're going to knit right up until almost the end. We're going to leave a little bit of a long tail so that we can cast off and finish up our scarf. So you've had a lot of practice doing the knit stitches and the purl stitches on this one. And we'll practice our cast off. Now, just remember, it's easy to forget as you move along. Make sure you still have your number of stitches that you cast on with. Now we do a knit row. So I have about this much left. I'm going to keep going for a few more rows. And this is one ball. So I've used one ball, and it's a reasonable length. Again, it depends on the height of the person who you're going to give it to. I've given these to some really tall people, and they kind of just use it to wrap around their neck and tuck inside their winter coat. And I've also given it to some short people who, like myself, we can use it as a regular scarf. But if you want it longer, just remember, you can just add on another ball. And I do have a video that shows you how to do that. And if you lose your train of thought when you're knitting, which sometimes happens, you can just go back and look. This is your knit. Your purl has the bar that goes across. So this is your knit. This is the purl that has the bar that goes across. This is your knit. This is your purl. This is your knit. So my next one is my purl. Remember, when you're doing this, you're always ending on a knit stitch. Okay. And when we're going to cast off, our last row that we do is going to be a knit one, purl one, because when we cast off, we're going to cast off knitting every stitch. You can cast off in pattern. I just find it easier because we also started with a knit row. Okay, so we finished with our last knit one, purl one row. This is the front of our work. This is the back of our work. You could actually wear it either side, it doesn't matter. And we are going to start to cast off. I have roughly about this much left. I might have been able to go 2 more rows, but I don't like to chance it. I just, you know, if I have a little tiny bit left, that's okay. So what we're going to do to cast off, we're going to cast off knitting every stitch. So you're going to knit your first stitch just like you normally would, and you're going to knit your second stitch. Then you're going to take your first stitch, insert like this, and slide it over your second stitch. Knit your next stitch, slide this stitch that's on the farthest back on your needle, the one closest to your hand, slide it over your other stitch, leaving that new stitch on the needle. And try not to do this too tight. You don't want it to be loose, but you don't want it to be super tight either. There we go. And just keep sliding the old stitch over the new stitch. And be careful not to split your yarn when you're doing this also. Sorry about the camera blurring. I think I'm a little too close. Here we go. And there we go. And this is your last stitch. You're going to pull that final stitch over the last stitch you just made. And then you can pull your tail right through. Do have quite a bit of yarn left, but that's okay. I'm sure I'll find something to do with it. And there is our cast off edge. And then you can weave some of this in. Hide that right in your work and cut the rest of it off. And that's what it looks like. This is the beginning. This is where we cast on, and this is where we cast off. And then you can block this. See how mine curls a little bit? So you can block this. I'll have a video to do that, but there's blocking boards you can buy. They're foam, and you would just dampen this and put pins in it. And because it's wool, it has a percentage of wool in it. It should block up nicely and lie flat. And make sure you weave in your beginning end. And any, like this one had a knot in it. So we want to weave these ends in where we had to correct that. I will do that off camera, and I'll come back and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, so the scarf is finished. I had just a little bit left. of scraps. And I used my yarn needle to weave in my ends. So they're all tucked in and you can't see really where they are. And this is one side of the scarf. It's not blocked yet. You can block it, like I said, if you want. And this is the reverse side. So you could really wear it on either side. And the yarn I used, you can see it kind of did its own striping pattern, which is kind of neat. It is, let's see if I can tell you how long it wound up being. Roughly about 34 inches by about 6, give or take. Yours might be different because you may knit tighter or looser, or you may have chosen different yarn or different size needles or a different stitch number. So this was cast on 15 stitches, knit a row, knit 1, purl 1 for the next row, then knit a row, knit 1, purl 1 for the next row, then knit a row until your desired length, and then cast off. And there you have it. You've created a beautiful scarf, and this is great for your own use or for gifts. So if you've completed it, congratulations, and join us next time for another video. We'll do another project. Also, we have additions to our stitch library coming up, where we'll show you all kinds of different knitting stitches. And I thank you for joining me today, and happy knitting!